prisoner had been sentenced to death. When he was asked about his last wish, he made such a request that the entire jail was thrown into confusion. He said, "My wish is to spend the last night of my life with a virgin girl who will willingly become my wife, announce it in the mosque and ask if anyone is willing." Even the police officers stared at one another. Could this wish really be fulfilled? Where would such a girl come from? And if the marriage actually happened, what would take place that night? My name is Sonali. I am a 40-year-old female inspector. Most of my life is passed inside courtrooms, police stations, and within the walls of this jail. I have seen countless faces, some soft, some hardened, some innocent-looking, and some with stone-cold hearts. Rajesh placed me in a strange dilemma. He didn't seem like an ordinary criminal. There was a deep sorrow in his eyes and a mysterious calm on his face, as if he understood everything, yet chose to remain silent. He was only 19 years old. It pierced my heart like an arrow to think that a boy who hadn't even properly seen the world yet would now have to leave it forever. He spoke very little, as if the words simply passed through him, without meaning anything. Or perhaps he didn't want to speak at all. Many times I felt like asking, "Rajesh, what crime have you committed that you deserve a punishment as severe as death?" But the sadness spread across his face sealed my lips. My police job had shaped me into someone tough, yet every time I stood in front of this cell number 870, a softness awakened in my heart. I knew communication with inmates was forbidden. The law was strict. Even then, the same question kept rising inside my mind again and again. Was this boy truly a criminal, or just a victim of circumstances? With these thoughts in my head, a special order reached me today. An order not only related to Rajesh's last wish, but one that would shake our entire prison in the coming days. In 2 days, prisoner number 870 would be executed. During this time, he was granted permission to meet his mother and father for the final time. The moment I received the news, a strange restlessness spread through me. Hardness in the prison environment was normal, but today the air carried a mix of sorrow and fear. I knew that every death row inmate had the right to express a final wish, whether it be a special meal, a meeting, or any other desire. But no one had ever made a strange request like the one Rajesh later made. Rajesh Kumar's body was thin and tall, but his mind was strong. When he met his mother, the scene was heartbreaking. The woman held her son's neck and cried uncontrollably. "You are innocent," she kept saying, and her belief shocked me. Even after the sentence was announced, she had not lost hope. She believed there must have been some misunderstanding. That very day I was ordered to ask Rajesh about his last wish. I thought perhaps he would ask for some time with his family or some simple final request, but when I stood before him there was an unusual calm on his face. I asked slowly, "Rajesh, do you have any last wish? Tell me, and we will try to fulfill it." He looked at me. He stayed silent for a few moments. Then he said, "I have one wish. But even if you promise, will you really fulfill it?" I replied, "This is the right of every prisoner. We will try to fulfill your wish." I thought maybe he wanted to meet someone, but when I took him to the SP, sir, and the SP gently asked, "Son, what is your last wish?" The words that came out of Rajesh's mouth made the entire room heavy. Rajesh said, "I want to get married for the first and last time in my life. I want to spend one night with my wife before the execution." Hearing his words, the room fell completely silent. The SP, sir, I, and everyone else stared at one another in shock. After a few seconds of silence, the SP, sir, said in a serious tone, "Son, we can arrange a marriage. But think, who will marry you? Everyone knows you will be hanged in 2 days. You come from a poor family. You have no wealth or influence. Why would any girl ruin her life to become a bride for only 1 day?" Rajesh quietly listened, with an odd calm on his face. Then he said, "I stand firm on my word, sir. My last wish is only this one." The SP, sir, became slightly irritated and said, "Ask for some other wish. Do you want to eat something? Do you want to meet someone? Do you want to go somewhere? Say it. Marriage is not possible." Rajesh slowly said, "Sir, don't worry. My marriage will happen on its own. You just do one thing. Announce in the mosque that prisoner Rajesh Kumar wants to marry someone for one day before his execution, and any girl who is willing can become his wife." Hearing this, I suddenly froze. The whole room went silent, filled with disbelief. How could a prisoner make such a strange condition? Breaking our silence, Rajesh said, "If any girl agrees, don't stop her. Otherwise, I don't want any other favor. I'm ready to be executed right now." There was such truth in his eyes that no one could deny him. The SP, sir, tapped the table and said, "Fine. We will make the announcement, but we don't believe anyone will come." That same evening, the announcement was made from the mosque near the jail. Prisoner number 870, Rajesh Kumar, wishes to marry for one day as his last wish. Any girl willing of her own choice may contact the jail administration. The announcement spread throughout Kanpur, but none of us believed anyone would come. We all thought no girl would agree to such a condition. Rajesh came from a poor family. No fame, no status. Who would accept him as a husband? To us it felt almost like a joke. But barely an hour later, a constable rushed into my office and said, "Madam, a girl dressed in bridal clothes is standing at the jail gate, and she has brought a priest with her." Hearing this, both the SP, sir, and I were shocked. We hurried outside. There stood a delicate girl of about 17 or 18 years. She wore a red bridal dress. She was adorned like a bride, but her face carried an unusual calmness and determination. Beside her stood an elderly priest, holding the marriage register. The ASP, sir, asked in a strict voice, "Panditji, what is this? Who is this girl?" The priest respectfully answered, "Sir, this girl, she came to me herself. She said she wants to marry Rajesh Kumar." I tried to explain to her, "Daughter, he is a death row prisoner. Why are you destroying your life?" But she did not listen. She said, "This is my decision. I truly love him." Hearing her words, a strange shiver ran through my body. The jail corridor fell silent. We could not believe that someone loved Rajesh so deeply that she was ready to give up her respect, her world, everything. But the law says a prisoner's last wish must be fulfilled, so we gave permission. The priest was brought inside. Rajesh was taken out of his cell. Inside the jail office, following a few simple rituals, the marriage was completed. After the marriage, Rajesh smiled and said, "Now, as promised, please let me meet my wife. I want to talk to her, just for one night." Hearing this, I was surprised, but the SP, sir, silently nodded in approval. I escorted the girl to Rajesh's cell. I closed the door and walked away. I thought she would come out on her own after a while. Time passed, and I began to hear faint, soft whispers from inside, as if someone was trying to open something. I listened for a moment, but thinking it was nothing, I calmly returned to my office. Night grew deeper. Suddenly the jail echoed with a scream. I ran toward Rajesh's cell. When I opened the door, the girl stood there in her bridal clothes. Her veil was pulled down and she was gasping for breath. Her body trembled violently. Shocked, I asked, "What happened? You came here willingly." "What has changed now?" she stammered. "Oh, please, get me out of here. I won't stay here." In a sharp tone, I asked why. "Is the madness of love gone now? Are you afraid of the consequences?" But she remained silent. Her fingers tightly gripped the edge of her dress. Her face carried such terror, as if she had returned from a nightmare. I opened the gate and the girl bolted out like lightning. Without saying a word, she disappeared into the darkness. I returned to my office, closed my phone, and sat there. The whole night I drowned in thoughts until exhaustion finally pulled me into sleep. I had no idea that morning would bring a storm. As soon as the sun rose, the SP Sir stormed into my office, furious. "Inspector Sonali, go immediately and check where Rajesh is," I said in confusion. "Sir, he should be inside his cell. Go and see." My heartbeat quickened. I ran toward Rajesh's cell. Standing outside the door, I called, "Rajesh, come out!" But there was no answer. Sweat gathered on my forehead. I peered through the window. Someone was lying inside, near the wall. A person wearing men's clothes. I unlocked the door and rushed in. I stepped closer. And as soon as I turned the person toward me, the ground slipped from beneath my feet. It was the same girl, the one who came as a bride last night. Now she was wearing Rajesh's clothes, lying unconscious. My hands began to tremble. The SP Sir arrived right then. Seeing the scene, he shouted, "What kind of drama is this? Where is Rajesh?" I couldn't say a word. He shouted loudly, "Because of your negligence, the discipline of the jail has collapsed. A death row prisoner has escaped." I was completely stunned. My mind went silent. We all realized that Rajesh had played a move that blinded us. He had escaped from the jail wearing the groom's outfit, and that girl was probably his partner. She had willingly sacrificed herself for him. When she regained consciousness, she spoke in a very calm voice. "You all did wrong to Rajesh. He did not deserve the death penalty." I got angry and said, "The court will decide this case." She gave a faint smile and said, "The decision will take time, and time will prove that he is innocent." The SP Sir gave a strict order. "Find Rajesh. If we fail to catch him, the consequences will be severe." There was chaos throughout the whole district. A death row prisoner had tricked all of us and escaped. The SP Sir was furious like fire, and my heart was beating fast. I couldn't understand how I had made such a big mistake. I trusted someone who had lied to us. Now there was only one way left: to get the truth out of that girl. Finding Rajesh was impossible. He had escaped many hours earlier. I said in a strict tone, "Listen, girl, now you will be questioned. If you don't tell the truth, the result will not be good." She was calm, as if everything had already been decided. She said, "I will tell you the whole truth about Rajesh." I looked closely at her face. There was no fear or confusion. I asked, "Is he really your brother? Or did people arrange this drama?" She stayed silent for a moment, then slowly said, "No, he is not my only brother." A wave of anger rose in me. "Then why did you do all this? Why did you marry him? You both fooled the entire jail. Rajesh has escaped. But remember, we will find him." She looked directly into my eyes and said, "You're wrong. He hasn't run away. He will come back." I was shocked. "How can you be so sure?" "Because he knows where he has to go, and when he has to return. Now he is my husband. He will not leave me." There was such confidence in her voice that for a moment my heart also trembled. I said in a harsh tone, "Why do you trust him so much?" She replied, "If you listen to my entire story, maybe you will change your decision. Then you will understand who the real culprit is, and why Rajesh did what he did." I became silent. That girl still stood firm as if she was hiding a big truth. Then she slowly said, "My name is Preeti, and my elder sister was engaged to Rajesh." Preeti started speaking. "Rajesh has been a brave and fearless boy since childhood. No matter what moment came, he never stepped back. He is my father's uncle's son, and which means my cousin. My father loved him very much. And when he arranged my elder sister's engagement with Rajesh, Rajesh became a part of our family. I quietly listened to her. There was sadness and pride in Preeti's voice. Our village, Saharanpur, is a small village, but the environment there was strange. One night Rajesh came to visit our cousin's sister. That night our father was not home and we two sisters were alone. I was in the kitchen making tea. Rajesh was talking with my sister in another room. Everything felt normal. Suddenly, loud knocking started at the door. When that moment came to her mind, Preeti's voice began to tremble. I looked outside the door. 3 or 4 wicked men were standing there. Their faces showed arrogance. One of them said, "We know a young man has come to your house. Send him out." I froze in fear. I prayed my sister wouldn't come out, or that nothing dangerous would happen. Hearing the noise, Rajesh immediately came outside. He gestured for me to go inside. I went to my room, closed the door, and listened with my ear against it. Outside, Rajesh stood in front of those thugs. One of them said something disgusting, but Rajesh did not show his anger. If he wanted, he could have beaten all of them. But he knew he was alone, and we two helpless sisters were inside the house. Rajesh politely tried to explain and somehow sent them away. That night he sat near the door for a long time, as if he was guarding us from danger. Preeti's eyes filled with tears. That was the first time I understood that Rajesh was not only brave, he was someone who protected the honor of others. We had no idea, because that night was just the first sign of the coming storm. Preeti took a deep breath and said, "But that was only the beginning." After that, our life turned into a nightmare. Every day, 3 or 4 criminals would stand outside our house. When my sister went to work, they started harassing us. We used to close the door, but the fear never went away. Then one night something happened that changed everything. Preeti's voice shook again. In the darkness of night, the window glass shattered with a loud noise. Someone was trying to break inside. Rajesh had just returned home at that moment. He saw with his own eyes one thug trying to break the window. We couldn't take it anymore. He went outside and confronted them. I kept listening silently. Preeti's words were carving themselves into my heart. The fight was terrifying. Preeti said, "The sound of shouting echoed through the entire neighborhood. My elder sister ran into the middle of it, and pushing and shoving began. One man got injured by Rajesh's hand. But that was not a murder. It was a fight to protect our honor." Tears fell from Preeti's eyes. The real criminals were those thugs, but Rajesh got punished. If we were rich, if we had someone to speak for us, maybe this wouldn't have happened. There is no justice in this world for the weak, madam. Rajesh didn't spill the blood of an innocent person. He only fought with pride. I couldn't say anything. Preeti wiped her eyes and said, "All of this was Rajesh's mother's conspiracy. She said she would sacrifice another girl from our family, but she would not let her son be hanged." I was shocked. Preeti said, "Yes. I gave myself to that plan so Rajesh could live. His mother sent him to a big lawyer in Mumbai, the same lawyer whose life Rajesh had saved many years ago." We reached the court, and the truth came out. It was proven that Rajesh fought for his honor. He did not commit any horrible crime. The court fully acquitted him. A spark appeared in Preeti's eyes. Rajesh was not given the death penalty. He was freed. I sat quietly for a long time. Preeti had left, but her story remained deep inside my heart. I looked out the window. Soft morning light was spreading in the sky. It felt like some stories never fade with time. They always stay alive in one corner of the heart. So friends, this was today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.